Feeling overwhelmed by the idea of balancing summer fun with your responsibilities? I get it. In today's episode of the Mom Life Handbook, we'll explore ways to set realistic expectations, find a schedule that works for your unique family, communicate effectively, and carve out crucial self-care time. This isn't about adding more to your plate. It's about making the most of the time we have to achieve the balance that we deserve. If that's what you need more of in your life this summer, you're in the right place. Let's simplify things together. I'm Erin Christopoulos, a mother of two and teacher-turned-mom strategist who puts the pieces of mom life together so you don't have to. I get that you're short on time and don't have the capacity to figure out everything on your own, which is why I'm here to help you get clear on where to put your focus while protecting your time and energy so you can actually enjoy these years with your little ones. I'm ditching the overwhelming and unrealistic one-size-fits-all tactics and replacing them with an approach that's practical and personal, because I believe your family is one of a kind with its own qualities and values that deserve an adaptable approach, offering support and encouragement where you need it most. From honest conversations and mindset shifts to practical tips and sustainable strategies, consider this your customizable guide to mom life. With the tools and resources you need at your fingertips, you'll finally have the confidence and clarity you need to bring more intention and ease to everyday life so that you and your family thrive. This is the Mom Life Handbook. Are you bracing yourself for the summer? Maybe you're already in it. Juggling your kids' expectations, your own work, and a million other things. Trust me, you're not alone. We're all in this together. In this episode, we're tackling the challenge of creating a rhythm for your family that works for everyone. We'll start by setting realistic expectations, and no, I'm not talking about planning a Pinterest perfect summer, but the bare minimum, the essentials that will make this summer enjoyable and manageable for everyone. We'll then move on to figuring out a family schedule that isn't ironclad, but more like a fluid rhythm that strikes a balance between productivity and fun. I'll share strategies for creating time windows that are focused on what matters most to you and your kids, from playtime to chores to quiet time and even a little screen time. One key thing that we'll address is the power of communication. I'll guide you on how to be clear with your family about your availability and articulate your needs effectively so that you are set up for the ultimate success this summer. Finally, we'll talk about the much needed and often neglected me time. We'll explore how even just a few minutes a day to yourself can replenish your stores and leave you feeling at your best. Before we dive into this week's episode, I wanted to take a minute to thank Erica from New York specifically for the incredible review that she left about this podcast. And the reason I want to share it with you is because I really feel like it's important for you to hear how the show is resonating with other moms, and so that you can have an idea to really reflect back on how is this show making a difference in your own life. So Erica had to say, Erin is the best. She's so knowledgeable about all things mom life. She brings an approach to parenting that is both realistic, empathetic, and backed with psychological facts. She's a gem. Thank you, Erica, for sharing what's really resonating with you the most. I'm glad that listeners are finding this show to be supportive. And yeah, I want to bring in that supportive piece, but I do also love sharing my insight from everything I know in education and in the classroom, because a lot of what I used as a teacher carries over into my own home. And I know that that's because those strategies are backed by research. So it's really important to me to strike that balance. If there's anything about the Mom Life Handbook podcast that resonates with you, will you please leave a rating and a review? A rating takes less than 5 seconds. All you have to do is tap how many stars you would rate this show. And then if you are feeling inspired to also share what you love about this show, would you please take just a few moments to write a review yourself? I read every single review that comes in, and it makes such a difference in knowing exactly what you want more of from this show and how I can tailor make it to fit your needs. Even if you've left a review before, if you have an idea for a new episode, drop it as a review. I'll see it there and I'll be able to create content that really feels supportive to what you need the most. All right, let's dive into this week's episode about summer schedules. So the first thing I want you to do when you're considering how to approach your summer days is to set realistic expectations. And here's the best way to do that. I want you to plan for the bare minimum. I think it's really easy to overplan. And when we have lots of expectations on us, it's almost inevitable that you're going to fall short of those expectations. So I want you to think about what is it that's essential each and every day of your summer that you want to prioritize. Pick one or two kind of pockets of time in your day that you really want to have as your non-negotiable. And then from there, you can kind of come up with a more fluid approach that, might look different from day to day, but at its core, your day still has those kind of protected pockets of time. So maybe that's like 30 minutes where you're carving out time to get some chores done. Or maybe if you're a business owner, you're dedicating an hour of your time each day that you are still focused on your business no matter what happens the rest of the day. So I want you to really just set up those bare minimum expectations. And maybe that also includes I want to carve out 20 minutes of time where I'm just engaging in play with my kids. That's okay too. It's really about what matters most to you. If you need a little bit more support in figuring out, all right, how do I actually be productive while my kids are around? I want you to go back to episode 8. It was last week's episode. And I shared all my go-to secrets for getting more done in less time. I've linked it in the show notes for you. Feel free to DM me on Instagram at Mom Life Handbook, and you can just say episode 8. I'll know what you're looking for, and I'll shoot you the link. Even without carving out time to tune into that episode, if you want to just get a jump start on things, just don't stack your to-do list. You're already setting yourself up for success by keeping it to a minimum. And then I also think it's really important to honor the rest of the family's priorities and what matters most to them. So have a little fun, take some time, and create a family bucket list for this summer so that you get a sense of what matters most to your kids, maybe your partner, and then dedicate some time each week or each month where you're checking one or two of those bucket list items off. I think that you'll find it's a great way to bring your family together and really honor what matters most to your kids. Or maybe even just ask them, if there were one thing we could do every day, what would it be? Is it time for music? Is it time for dancing or creating art together or playing outside? Figure out what matters most to them and really prioritize that. And then from there, you can really create a schedule that works for you because you're super clear on what your personal priorities are for your family. You're eventually going to find your rhythm once you build your day around those non-negotiable pockets of time. I want you to create these loose windows of time that are focused on, different kind of categories. I'm thinking about this from the lens of a teacher. When I'm creating my schedule for the day in the classroom, we're looking at, where do we have time for maybe a morning meeting or math or reading or recess? Having that idea in mind of what the flow of your day is going to be like will really help you structure and flow through your entire day. So, some easy pockets of time that come up for me are, when's your playtime for your kids? It doesn't take much. If you want, you can just save ideas as you see them on Instagram or Pinterest if you're looking for some ways to mix up your playtime. But honestly, it can be as simple as, we're going to go outside from 9 to 9:30, or maybe you set up a sensory bin and you want to offer it at that time to your kids or any other invitation to play. It doesn't have to be very structured. And then maybe you need a window of time where you're running errands or getting chores done. I highly recommend quiet time for your family. My kids still have that, and they are going on 7 and 9. We all need that downtime in our day. And if you would like me to break that down in an episode, would you just let me know? Go ahead and leave a review and say, hey, I really would love an episode on how I can make quiet time work for my family. I'd be happy to create that if you're interested in it. So let me know. And then something else that's really great to incorporate into your day, if your family does create time for screen time, I would say let your kids know when they can anticipate that's going to happen and make it be at a time when you're trying to maybe get some things done. I think it's a realistic expectation that your family will have time where your kids are in front of a screen. So don't be hard on yourself for that. But I also think it's easy for it to get away from us. So I've found that scheduling in a window of time when my kids can anticipate that they may have screen time, it helps kind of rein it all in and keep everyone focused on what they can expect. And then also, when you do need to step away to be productive, because I think that's a realistic expectation, you're going to have to be able to do that. I want you to bookend your productivity time with some connection time with your kids. Go check out episode 5 for some tips on how to do that. I also walk you through how to create meaningful connection just in everyday moments and routines so that it feels really natural. It doesn't have to be that, you're carving out an hour of time, one-on-one with each of your kids. That's unrealistic. Instead, I really walk you through how do you make this just inherent in everything you do? How can you bring your kids along? How can you connect with them from moment to moment, no matter what's going on? So you can find that link in the show notes, or again, just DM me on Instagram at Mom Life Handbook. Just say episode 5. I'll know what you're looking for and I'll send it your way. And if you want some support really crafting an intentional daily rhythm that reflects your family's unique needs, and you feel like you don't really know how to do that, or you don't have the capacity to, but you really do want to come up with a summer routine that fits your personality, prioritizes what really matters most to you, I want you to go check out the Routine Refresh. It's my one-on-one service that's designed to help you refresh your routines that you already have in place so that they actually work. So you can head to the link in the show notes or just DM me and say, hey, tell me more about this routine refresh, and I'll fill you in. I'll tell you that my one-on-one availability during the summer is more limited. So don't sit on the opportunity to work with me to come up with a plan for you if this sounds like what you really need in order to jumpstart that summer rhythm that works for you. Those spots are going to fill up quickly. And then once you have an idea of what your day is going to look like, I want you to clearly communicate it to everyone in your family, including your kids. You can have the best laid plans for what your days are going to look like this summer, but if you don't share that vision with your family, it's going to be really hard for you to work as a team collectively to achieve that vision. So that's why when we talked about setting your priorities, I want you to also include your kids or your partner and find out what's important to them, what is going to need to be accounted for, because their voice matters too. And now that you've kind of structured, all right, here are our priorities, here are our non-negotiables, here's how we can kind of structure the flow of our day around those non-negotiables. Here's how we can create windows of time for, different purposes. Now it's time to say, all right, here's our plan. Here's how we're going to achieve everything that matters to everyone in our family. This is going to look different, of course, depending on the age of your children and whether your partner is home during the day or they're at work. It will obviously be unique to your family. But what I want you to do is make sure that if you are coming up with a plan for what your summer days are going to look like, come up with a plan as well to clearly communicate those expectations, because it's really easy for us to have this vision of how the day is going to play out. But if no one else knows what that's going to look like, it's going to be really hard for them to help you achieve that. If your kids are a bit older, it's really easy to just have a tabletop whiteboard or a little whiteboard that's on your fridge, and you can just list out, here's kind of the flow of our day. You're going to find that you want it to be something that you can change on a day-to-day basis, because again, your events of what's happening in your day are going to be different, and making something that you print off is going to be unsustainable. So just keep it simple. It's not going to be pretty. And trust me, you're hearing this from the person who really likes things to look nice. This is not going to be one of those things. It's just impractical. If you have kids who are younger, I'm going to share with you a strategy that is a hit in my house. And it comes from when I taught in the classroom. I know that as a teacher, I always had a visual schedule up on the board, whether I was meeting with small groups or it was for my whole classroom and we're looking at the whole day. You can honestly do this in a simple way with Post-it notes. Have your kids or you can draw pictures of what the pockets of time are going to be throughout the day that they can expect, playtime, snack time, reading time, errands, lunch, whatever they are. Keep it simple. And then put those Post-its on the wall. And then as you go through each thing, you can take the Post-it note off the wall, and it helps your child really know what to anticipate, and it will help minimize their questions of, When can I have a snack? When can I be on my screen? Mom, when are you going to play with me? You can always direct their attention back to that schedule so that they start to understand how their time is organized throughout the day. That can be really confusing for them because they're kids who have no control over what their day is going to look like. So at least helping them know what they can anticipate really sets them up for success. And when we think about how you can set yourself up for success, I also want you to make sure that you're not hesitating to communicate your needs. Utilize your support system. I don't know what that looks like for you. I don't know if you have a babysitter or a nanny or a neighbor or a family member who can be a source of support, whether that's spending time with your kids or helping you run errands. If you don't articulate your expectations or how you could use some support, your family and community don't even stand a chance of meeting them. So I want you to really expand your approach to taking on all of the to-dos on your to-do list, because chances are if you're home with your kids during the summer, you are going to have less time to get things done. And that's okay. We just have to shift your approach over the summer temporarily to thinking creatively about how you can make that happen. Again, if you go back to episode 8, where I share those secrets of how to get more done in less time, I talked to you about how you can automate some tasks even or rely on outsourcing like grocery orders to help you save some of that time as well. So be sure to check that episode out. I think you are going to find it really helpful this summer in terms of maximizing your time, because I know that it's especially precious in the summer months. And then I also want to create space in this episode to honor the fact that summer isn't always fun. Summer comes with this kind of complexity that you don't get during the regular school year. And I say that because things are different. Things are less predictable. And sometimes we have a vision for what summer's going to look like for our family. And the reality is that's not how it's going to play out. And that can feel very conflicting. I think our kids can have a certain vision of what summer's going to look like for them. I know that my son this year, he's like, I don't really want to go to camp. You know, he's going to be 9. He's probably getting to that age where it's hit or miss. And at the same time, it was important to me and Jason that he has opportunities to explore new interests, to make new friends, to be a little bit uncomfortable in terms of social scenarios where he's really learning how to forge new relationships, practice those new skills. And that matters to us. That's a value to us. And I really had to grapple with, am I okay with him being disappointed in our parenting choice in order to achieve something that we really value on his behalf? And maybe it's that you're a working parent and you have to rely on someone else to care for your child in order to do your job. And that might disappoint your child. So I really feel like there can be these internal conflicts that are happening where you might feel guilt about how things are playing out for the summer because everyone's expectations aren't being met. I think that's a very natural response from us as moms because we aim to please. We aim to make everyone happy, to make their lives better. If this is something that you've found yourself struggling with, I put together a summer survival guide. It's a mini ebook that helps you find your confidence in making the best decisions for your family this summer. I want you to head to the show notes or just DM me on Instagram at Mom Life Handbook Summer Survival Guide, and we'll send you that link your way so that you can get signed up and you can get that quick little read. I think you'll find that it really helps you shift your mindset and find your confidence in making the right decisions and ditching the mom guilt at the same time. And then amidst all of this change, all of this transition, all of these new routines, I want you to make sure that you are carving out time for yourself. Summers are hectic. Summers are busy. Summers are also emotional. Summers are draining. It is a lot to show up for mom life during the summer months. And I want you to make sure that you are preparing yourself each and every day to make that possible. So find a few minutes that you can dedicate to yourself. Carve out time each and every day to do something that you enjoy. It doesn't have to be a whole lot of time. It's whatever's going to help you feel better about yourself or connect back to a little piece of your own individuality. I think it's really easy to lose who we are as individuals when we are constantly in mom mode. So if you can find a way to tap back into something that really speaks to your individuality and who you are, you're going to find that you really replenish your stores, and you're going to be better prepared to show up for mom life each and every day as your best version of yourself. The last thing you want is to be on a short fuse or feeling frantic because you never have time to yourself. So make sure you make that a priority. There's no guilt in that when you know that it's not just benefiting you, it's really benefiting your whole family. So make sure that that happens. And as we wrap up today, I think it's really helpful to recap everything that we've covered. We took a deep dive into setting realistic expectations for your summer, finding a schedule that works for your unique family, and the power of clear communication, and the importance of taking time for yourself. I really want you to take a moment to let all that we've discussed sink in. And remember, this isn't about adding more to your overflowing plate. This is about learning to prioritize and simplify, about crafting a summer that feels manageable and enjoyable for everyone, including you. Setting realistic expectations doesn't mean striving for perfection, but rather understanding what's truly important for you and your family. Creating a schedule isn't about micromanaging every minute, but about finding a rhythm that balances productivity and fun, a rhythm that honors your family's unique needs and desires. Communication is the key to letting your family know your availability and needs, and make sure that you do take that time for yourself, because it isn't selfish, it's a necessity. As you navigate your summer, remember these strategies. Take action, try them out, and give yourself grace. Your family's perfect summer isn't about a flawless execution of events and plans. It's about connection, laughter, relaxation, and the occasional ice cream for dessert. If after listening to this episode, you're still feeling overwhelmed or feeling like you really want personalized support in creating a summer that works for you and your family, don't forget to check out the Routine Refresh. I love working one-on-one with moms just like you. It is so fun to get to know you personally and really help you key in on a flexible routine that's really custom made to you, that fits your personality, that prioritizes what matters most to you, and will ultimately set you up for success. You can find that link in the show notes or send me a DM. Remember that my summer availability is limited, so you'll want to book that in before those spots fill up. I can't wait to work alongside you to make this summer the best one yet for you and your family. As always, thank you for joining me today. I can't wait to continue this journey with you. Don't forget, if you are still struggling with mom guilt and finding the balance between what your children want and what's really in your family's best interest, my summer survival guide can help you feel more confident. You'll find that linked in the show notes, so don't hesitate to grab that. As we wrap up this week's episode, remember, mom life is complex, but it doesn't have to be complicated. Here's to leading with purpose and intention as you simplify mom life in the week ahead. You've just finished another episode of the Mom Life Handbook podcast. Remember to check out the episode description for all the important links and highlights from today's show. While you're there, tap the subscribe button so that new episodes are always at your fingertips. Before you go, I'd really appreciate hearing your thoughts about the show. It takes as little as 30 seconds to leave a review, and your honest thoughts help me create a better show and help other moms discover it too. And if this episode really helped you out, go ahead and hit the share button to text it to a friend or share it on social media. You never know who in your life might benefit from a little extra support. Don't forget, there are lots of ways to stay connected beyond the podcast. Head over to momlifehandbook.com for additional resources or to learn about how to work with me. And be sure to follow along on Instagram at momlifehandbook. Send me a DM to say hey or to share your thoughts on today's episode. Connecting with you personally is what I really love most. And just in case you need to hear it today, you're doing an incredible job. I know it doesn't always feel like it, but you're here, learning how to be better and do better. Keep working to bring more intention and ease into your life, and know that I'm right here cheering you on. You're creating a beautiful journey for you and your family. I am so proud of you.